What I'm about to tell you has revolutionized my relationship with information. This 4-part system has helped me memorize everything I consume, whether that's YouTube videos, podcasts, books, articles, or really anything you consume on a daily basis. I had a horrible relationship with information. To everyone around me, it seemed like a win in one ear and out the other due to my short-term memory loss. So when I say anyone can do this, I genuinely believe that. The majority of people can't memorize everything solely using their brain. The great thing though is that we can achieve the same exact result with a little bit of help from technology. The process is broken down into a 4-part method called code. The C in code stands for capture, and the traditional way of capturing things is highlighting stuff or writing it down in a journal. But this is extremely ineffective and highly unlikely that we'll even use it again. And that's even if we can even find it. There are 6 apps that help me quickly capture information so I can save it for later. The 6 are ear.io, Instapaper, Notion, Hypothesis Chrome extension, Kindle, and Readwise. The reason why I use all these different tools is they all have different applications for certain different times. So ear.io is a podcast transcriber that helps you transcribe the last 30 seconds of a podcast and write notes additionally too. Instapaper is a save it for later tool that helps you save articles or anything that you come across on the internet for later. Most of the time when we find these really important articles, we can't read it at the specific time. So what this tool allows you to do is save it for later, and it gives you a full library of things that we are genuinely interested in reading. So then later we can have focused attention on things that we want to read and learn about. Notion is my personal choice of a notes app, but you can use anyone. You can use the phone app, you can use Obsidian. There's tons of out there, and most of them are for free. So you can pick your own one, but I think everybody should at least have a notes app at the bare minimum. Hypothesis Chrome extension is a really cool app that essentially turns the internet into your own playground. Before, you can't do anything really with articles. But with Hypothesis Chrome extension, you can highlight all the articles and then export those highlights into your notes app, which then will allow you to save all the ideas and the work that you've done. The last 2 are kind of intertwined, but it's Kindle and Readwise. What Kindle allows you to do is, I used to be someone that I genuinely like to read books in a physical copy because I like to turn the pages, and I thought it was just a better overall experience. But the one important thing that I could not get out of my head was when I look back at all my books, I realized there's thousands of highlights in there and so much detail that I took out, that I did the work already for, but I don't know what it is. What Kindle allows you to do is it allows you to export all of the highlights that you've taken and put it into Readwise. What Readwise allows you to do is take all of these apps and combine them into one area so you can search them. But also the one and most important thing I think is that it allows you to get a daily reoccurrence of 3, if not up to 15 highlights each day that you get to repeat and remember all the things that you actually consume that you think are the most important takeaways from each book, which will help you memorize all of these things. The whole point of this is instead of mindlessly consuming just to forget it months later, this process is about consuming with intention and purpose to pay dividends months, if not even years later. The O in code stands for organize, and many people organize their notes in the style of librarian. And what I mean by that is they write it in nonfiction, fiction, or science and so on. But the best way to actually organize your files would be in the Paraframe. Paraframe organizes your notes and what's most effective today. What PARA stands for is projects, area, resources, and archive. Projects are for short-term things that you're currently working on today. So this would be like the project that you're currently working on work, or something that like a book that you're reading. Areas for things that you are currently working on are for the long term. So this could be your health, self-improvement, or some type of subject or thing that you're interested in that you genuinely are going to learn about for the long term. Resources are for things that you're interested in but you are not currently working on. This could be things like cooking. I like to cook, but I'm not currently trying to work on a project or improve on that. It's just something I genuinely am interested about. Last thing is archive. Archives are for anything that you have completely finished, or it's for all your old notes. Because one of the most important things of implementing this is that you want to reduce the most amount of friction to implement this new system. So any notes that you have, what you want to do is you want to drop all of it into the archive and just completely forget about it, right? If you always need it, you can always go back to the archive but it's highly unlikely that you'll ever even use it. By organizing your notes in this way, you are organizing in what's most effective today and what notes can I use today to impact the thing that I'm working on today. The D in code is distill. This is about progressively summarizing your notes. Now that they're in the right place, what we want to do is always leave their notes a little bit better than how we found it. Right when you capture them, you don't want to do anything with your notes. You want to have the least amount of friction, and you want to just put it in your note system and leave it there. But if you ever come back to that note, you want to leave it a little bit better than how it was. So this time what we'll do is we'll bold it this time. And if we ever come back again, from there, the bolded text, what we do is then we highlight out of the bolded text. And then if we ever come back to it again, what we'll do is we'll summarize the top of it and put it into like a bullet point. And you could always use AI or ChatGPT to help you summarize this. But the whole idea here is to be able to zoom in and out of your notes so that you can get the most amount of detail if you want, or the least amount of detail, and you can understand what it's about with the least amount of energy. The last and most important step is expressing. The whole notion that you'll never truly know until you teach is extremely accurate here. If you truly want to learn and memorize more things, you must teach the things that you learn, because it forces you to actually memorize it, but it also makes you look at it in a different light. If you're looking to dig a little deeper in this memorization system, I will leave some resources in the description, and there's this really good book called The Second Brain by Tiago Forte, so give it a check out. As always, I'll see you in the next